Welcome. Good evening to the masterclass that we'll have today. Looking forward to spend a moment with you. Hope you found your way to the video. If you want to leave some comments, I'm reading the comments whilst we're doing this presentation. Giving you some answers if you have questions, and of course if you want to write where you're joining from. Always looking forward to connect to new people. The topic we'll discuss today is a topic that I'm quite passionate about, is how to turn research into successful spin-offs without losing the scientific essence behind. Just a short introduction about myself. Hope you can hear me. Hope you can see me well. If there's some problem, just leave a comment, and then me or my team will take care to make it work. So myself, I'm Mario Schäfer. All my professional life, I've been basically dedicated to business development and advisory roles. I studied biotechnology and economics, and with this combination some years back now, I founded my own company as CEO at 1IB. With this, I'm consultant across multiple industries. I'm lecturer at a business school in Spain called ESADE, and also advising at some expert panels to do some peer review on scientific funding projects. So wherever there's funding involved for scientific projects, as for Science for Life and La Caixa, which is also a Spanish bank. Some years, 2 years back, I published a book called Doing What Matters, The Power of Purposeful Productivity. As being an entrepreneur, all of us, we are getting quite busy. We have to handle family life. Sometimes we have to still our full-time job. We have to build up our business, especially when creating a spin-off. We have to struggle with the daily tasks on the research side. On the other hand, we have to build up the spin-off. So there's a lot of tasks, and productivity is a very important point. So that's why I dedicated the book to that, if you're interested. On the other hand, I work with family offices in taking funding decision for investments into innovative business ideas. I've worked on the other side. I've worked some years for Big Pharma, for Sanofi, and they're also specializing in building external innovation portfolios in partnerships with third parties, with companies. Also myself, I've invested in some businesses in the pre-seed and seed phases. Also an interesting experience I've made in all these investment decisions. So all of this basically brings me here. Like in all professional developments, it has not always been like this. Definitely, I got some kind of frustrated because I wanted to apply my scientific knowledge and wanted to see how this applies in the market. Therefore, I left the science, studied a business degree, and especially at the beginning, whenever you're struggling, you put yourself into a lot of projects to see what is working, what is not working. You do not see concrete progress for the overload. You do not see the scalability, and it takes time. And it took me quite a lot of time to understand how the industry works, how the funding works, how all these innovation ecosystems work. At some point, of course, I felt a certain crisis to see if I shall persist or redefine my professional focus, where to go. Definitely, I've dedicated significant time to projects in technology transfer and consulting, which didn't take off and didn't have the desired impact in the end. And all this misalignment you sometimes feel between your professional activity and your purpose, which makes you lose some opportunities. So I've gone through all of this, and definitely it helped to find overall these way to find a network of collaborators and mentors that understand and propelled me further in my vision. I gained some expertise, of course, resources and funding along the way to align with all these projects, to bring these projects further. A different story are partnerships. So we will talk about this also today. Partnerships quite important to propel us further and also to maintain our activities and our scientific focus. We'll come to these points later in the presentation. I'm quite happy to have you here. If you have questions during the presentation, just drop a comment. From time to time, I will check the comment section, and then I will give you the answers if I have answers to your questions. So if you're there, just leave me a comment. Why we're here today. So first of all, how to transform your research into a spin-off to generate real impact on society. That's what we want. Of course, we do not want our research to be lost in some kind of patents which are never used. So of course, we want to see that there is some impact on society. We want to learn how to launch a spin-off, even if we have no business experience and no industry contacts yet. Of course, we'll come there, how to generate them. And at the end, I will explain you what is the 1IB Hub method, Founders of Innovation, it's called, with which I and my team, we have helped academic spin-offs to validate their ideas, to attract industrial partners and attract funding. This shall be a quite practical class for today. So I will show you some tools which I think are the most important ones in order to get the project structured and running at the beginning. One of those is the business model canvas. It's already 2005, so it's already 20 years old. The first time I got into contact with this was quite at the beginning. It's a great tool to structure ideas, to validate business model and align strategies. Because in academic spin-offs, we often struggle with sometimes also, of course, we struggle to have a viable business model and to show it to investors. So this is a tool to bridge this gap. Because in one page, it's divided into 9 building blocks, and it gives us some visual clues which we can very dynamically use and do some kind of process. We can change this very, very easily whilst we get feedback from the market. And this is, of course, it's quite used. A lot of startups use this to develop new business ideas, to redefine what they already have, and to pitch to investors and stakeholders, which is something what we ultimately want to do. What are these 9 building blocks? So this will be here. I will explain this later also on an example. We have a value proposition. So what unique value do we offer? And these can be different ones. So in healthcare, normally, as we know, we have different customer segments. So for scientific and technology-driven startups and spin-offs, it's sometimes not that clear whom is the paying customer. Sometimes for instance, if we're looking at pharmaceutical developments or from the medical technology space, so we develop something which has a scientific value for the physician. So the physicians are some kind of our customers, but whom pays for the product sometimes are the healthcare systems. So they are also our customers. And so we have defined different value proposition for different customer segments. So the value proposition for the healthcare system can be a different one. So perhaps saving money and having shorter treatment cycles, whilst the one for the physician might be different because it might be easier to use, it might be easier to convince the patient, And for the patient itself, it might be better because it's more convenient and the compliance to the treatment is better. So all of this comes into this part. So this value, it's shown graphically here if you would like to find it, as mentioned also in the sources. This is a tool developed by Alexander Ostenwalder, and his company is called Strategizers. You can also download the templates there to fill it out yourself. And these are basically the building blocks that we will look at. The customer segment, as mentioned, whom are we serving to? So whom has an interest to work with our product? And from there, how to reach there. So for spin-offs from university setting, most of the times we are going to conferences, we are meeting some kind of physicians there, we are meeting users there, we are meeting industry partners there. So this can be a good channel. Our publications to scientific journals can be a good channel in order to arrive to our customer group. Also, perhaps phone calls can be a good way to organize something in the beginning. Social media, LinkedIn, whatever, where our professional audience is. All these we have to define into channels. The customer relationships, so how do we build and maintain these relationships? So is it via personal visits? Is it via phone calls? Is it via video conferences? Whatever. So one is the customer relationships, and the channels are quite related. Of course, one is what are the channels? The other one, how are we using these channels in order to arrive to our customers? And from this, in the best case, we are getting some revenue streams. Most of the times in spin-offs from the academic setting, revenues come much later in the game. So as we know, there's a long technical development, there's a long time, so we have to invest for quite some time before we get revenues. So perhaps we might find to have might have to find an investor to bridge this gap between where we are now and where we want to be when we are able to start getting revenues. Whilst it might also be interesting to think about what kind of revenues we might be able to already do now. Perhaps we can offer some kind of services to our customers, to other customers. Perhaps we have a laboratory setting that we can use in order to gain some revenues in the beginning. So we can invest these revenues in the further development of our technical development, especially when we're looking at pharmaceuticals. A lot of times drugs and medical drugs are developed for human use, whilst there might be also uses in the veterinary segment. So a lot of things also deserve a nice brainstorming there in order to see what could be potential revenue streams in order to bring the spin-off forward. We will have key resources, so perhaps especially in technology-driven spin-offs, we often need intellectual property, patents. We need some kind of team, the founder team, but also some kind of technical knowledge that we might use. So everything that we need to do have in-house. And with all that, we have to maintain our core activities. We have to do the research, we have to do the tech transfer, we have the generation of the IP, we have to run our office space. All these are key activities. We have to maintain the relationships to our customers. We have to do market research. All these are key activities that we have to do in our daily lives in order to make the business running. And for some aspects, we might need partners. So there could be partnerships with perhaps we need some kind of specialized technology providers that have some kind of laboratory equipment, which we do not have in our own lab. We might need lawyers for intellectual property. We might need lawyers for contract design. All these kind of things we need to put into key partnerships. And all of these, they will generate some cost to us. So our own resources will generate some cost, our own activities will generate some cost, and the key partnerships will generate some cost. Having all this done, this helps us to really have a simplified vision of what we want to do. Because as we will be coming to this in a minute, as scientific founders, sometimes we tend to overcomplicate things. So perhaps we do not have our adequate tools at hand to present our ideas to the university, to support us in our tech transfer activities, perhaps not to industrial players, perhaps not to investors, to whatever we need along the way. And this is really, really important that we spend some more time there, because it's very difficult science as such, and our findings are very complex, and to make them understandable and easy what we want to do, sometimes it's not the easiest thing. And I've seen a lot of projects, and the most of the projects I've seen failing in the early stages is because of this, for lack of communication and the lack of distilling it down to really tangible points. This tool, the business model canvas, is really a great one in order to, first of all, simplify, then to think about how all of this is related, to see also which gaps and opportunities we still have, and perhaps in the big picture we didn't identify. Sometimes it helps to simplify in order to see what the bigger picture and which gaps and opportunities this can bring. And this facilitates the pitches with investors and funding applications, whatever, if we have a small and lean vision of our business, which can be communicated easily. Because the attention spans are quite short, as we know, getting shorter and shorter each day. I can assure you that whenever I was working at Big Pharma, we received a lot of projects every day. And whenever you receive a slide deck of 178 pages, perhaps that's not the best thing to start with. So in the end, it just got on the pile, and then it got down the pile and down the pile and whatever. But whenever you get something which is well prepared, easy to digest, you look at it at the beginning, you say, might be interesting, and you start with the next steps. This is what we want to do. So we want to have a first impression that this is nice. The people are well equipped. They are able to distill this in easy language, and then to start a presentation from there. So this less is more principle, which helps in quite a lot of aspects in life, not only around the spin-off. So I believe these concise communication is quite important, is the most important part in order to make this work. Coming from the business model canvas, what is most important, of course, is our value proposition. All the rest we have to understand. It's good to give some time there, whilst we really need to understand the so our own value proposition. Basically divided into what is our customer. So just shortly here, so why, as mentioned. The investors and industry partners need clear customer-focused messaging before committing. So sometimes our communication is too technical and not really centered in the customer itself. So that's what we need to change, and that's what we can do with this value proposition canvas. It shows us our customer profile on the right hand. So as you see, which jobs does our customer need to do? And what are the pains of our customer? So what is he she struggling on a daily basis? So what obstacles do they face? Which kind of problems do they have? What technical solutions could help them in order to do their job better? And on the other hand, the other way around, which gains do they seek? So what could be a benefit in their daily work? So not only there's just pains, of course, which they want to reduce, but they also want to grow and they want to do things better. So which gains are they looking at? And on the other hand, we can define So of course, what we offer, so a technical solution to solve problems, and we can offer pain reliever. So how does our innovation reduce the frustrations of our customers, and we can create gain creators. So how does it create benefits for our customers? A short example on this. So also, as my work has been also quite a lot in the pharmaceutical segment, that's something that I've been working in. But just if we look at something at an example, for instance, a customer job. So what the customer is trying to achieve. So if we look at the healthcare innovation, so one customer can be the patient. So they seek effective treatment for a specific medical condition, and they want better outcomes with fewer side effects, and they want to have it at a cheaper price. The healthcare providers, a different customer, they aim to provide the best treatment options to their patient. They want to improve the patient outcome, and they want to ensure cost effective in the treatment plans. There's also one group, which is the pharmacies and the distributors. They want that this product is easy to handle, and it can be brought to the patient easily, so over the physician or over the pharmacy. And there's another customer, which are the payers, health insurances, governments, different in different countries. They look basically for treatments which reduce long-term healthcare costs whilst improving patient quality of life. What are the pains of these customers? The pains of these customers are the patients. Their current treatment may have side effects, high costs, limited efficacy, leading to poor patient compliance, those kind of things. The healthcare providers, that perhaps these existing treatments may not address all patient needs. They have narrow applications, come with high costs and side effects, and limiting the patient choices. For the pharmacies, the existing drugs might be difficult to stock, or they have some fluctuation in supply, have limited market demand. For the payers, the high costs, of course, of current treatments is straining their budget, and long-term outcomes may not justify the initial expenditure. Turn it the other way around, the gains, so what the customers desire or which benefits do they seek? They seek a treatment that is more effective with fewer side effects and enhancing the quality of life, reducing costs. Healthcare providers, they search access to a proven new drug, which significantly improves the patient outcomes, and allowing personalized treatment plans improve patient satisfaction. If you look at pharmacies, so these competitive products that is easy to distribute, widely accepted in the market, and offers a strong margin. And the payers, they look for more cost-effective treatments that reduces long-term healthcare spending while improving patient recovery rates. This is the right side. If we look at the customer, if we look at the healthcare example. Looking at the left side, so what is our value map? So what is the products and services that we offer? So we offer a new generation, in this case, a new generation medicine based on a patented technology that addresses a previously unmet need in the pharmaceutical market. Improved efficacy, reduced side effects, lower costs, all of these normally play a role. So the pain relievers, not literally speaking pain relievers in the pharmaceutical meaning, but pain relievers for our customers, so for the patients. The medicine offers fewer side effects and therefore improving the ability to continue with the treatment and live a healthier life. For the healthcare providers, the new medicine offers a wider range of applications and better treatment outcomes, basically reducing complications, improving patients' adherence. For the distributors, the medicine is more stable, easier to manufacture at scale, offering steady supply and easier market penetration. The payers, the treatment is cost effective, helps reduce the overall healthcare burden, and offering long-term savings due to improved patient outcomes and fewer hospital cases, might be. What could be the gain creators? So how the product, our service creates gains for the customer. A patient, he looks for a more accessible treatment option that improves overall health, reduces pain, and allows for a better lifestyle with fewer visits to the doctor or to the hospital. The healthcare providers, they look for the ability to offer breakthrough treatment that enhances the credibility and aligns with the goals of improving patient outcomes. The pharmacies and distributions, they look for a new market-leading product that enhances their product portfolio and increases sales opportunities in a growing, evolving market. And lastly, for the payers, they look for cost savings, as always, from reducing long-term treatment expenses, better management of chronic diseases, and improved public health outcomes, leading to better overall financial management. So whenever we look at all these pictures, just in this example, later on, if you want to check the recording also of this session, you can rewind. But this is how you do such an exercise. So you bring down really what is the pain points and the pain relievers, which is the gain creators for my customer, in order to really understand what is the pains and the gains of our customer and how we can react to this. Because, as mentioned before, too much focus on technology, too little on customer needs. This is what I see in a lot of projects, and it's natural. Also myself, whenever I'm pitching about my own company, I like my own company, I like what we are doing, and of course I like the features and the services we are able to provide to our customers. It's nice to talk about it, and however, so to be true, the customer normally do not care. So they want a solution to their problem. Basically, we have to understand what is the problem of our customer and communicate our solution to their problem, not our technology as such. So especially in university scientific driven outcomes, of course, we are used to generate research papers to in all detail explain what we have been doing. In tech transfer and these kind of spin-offs into economics, it's working differently. So definitely we need to change our mindset in order to bring better solutions to investors, to companies, and they want to learn how we can solve their problems. Therefore we have to change the technical terms and talk more about market and product impact. And this will also help us to differentiate from our existing competitors, because once we have understood what problem we are solving, how we are solving this, we can always bring this better to our customers. Also now checking the chat. So nice to have so many people here from Mallorca, from Chile, France, Lebanon. So very nice. Welcome to all of you. Thanks for joining us today for this class on how to bring forward scientific knowledge into spin-off. Once we have generated all this from the business model canvas, from the value proposition canvas, I recommend strongly to bring all of that into a one-pager. So normally there's a tendency, as mentioned, we write a research paper. We are proud of our technology. The more information we can provide, the better. But this is normally not really helping. So what we need to do is reducing the information to something which is of relevance for our readers, for investors, for industrial partners, because normally we just have one chance. They look at it and say, okay, that's interesting, potentially interesting, or that's not interesting. If we get into this category of not interesting too fast, then we lose our opportunity. So potentially interesting, if we give them easy to digest information, they go through this and say, okay, yeah, what is our background? What is our technology about? What IP do we have? What is the next steps? How can they contact us? They say, yes, I have 1-2 questions, send it back. And from there, we can start the next steps, which will not be possible if we send them a 75-page slide deck on our technology, and perhaps they do not have the time at some point, or perhaps they have a more easily accessible alternative. So in the end, they will not look at our information, but will get in contact with the competitors of us. So this is something what we really need to do to see how we can manage this and bring this into a nice one-pager. We have done several examples. If you're interested afterwards, later on I will tell you how to contact me. So then we can also have a discussion about that. What shall be in this one-pager? So problem and solution, this value proposition. So all of this information we can already take from the business model canvas and the value proposition canvas that we have already done. So that's the nice part. There is no redundancy, there is no extra work. So we just, once we have done this mental and this simplification, we can use this simple information to do these kind of documents. We will have information on the market opportunity, our target audience, what is our unique advantage and the differentiation, what is the business model we are looking at, and what is our, of course, contact details and call to action. Always important to say, okay, we envision to talk to industrial partners, and our deadline for accepting proposals will be that. So please contact us before, in order to also move the people to contact you. Design, really visually simple, appealing, well structured and appealing, and not making it too complex. So sometimes if we make it too technical at the beginning, perhaps it is arriving at some junior manager at the venture capital firm. If we're looking for some investment, they do not really understand it. So it's getting into the filter too early. So in the beginning, it's really keep it. So I'm not sure if you know this KISS principle. I like it quite a lot. It's keep it simple and stupid. Helps a lot in life. Keep it simple at the beginning. Helps a lot to open up doors, to generate further interest. So they will ask questions, and then you're already in the conversation. If you try to provide all the answers and all the perfect answers at the beginning, it will be difficult. So in life, sometimes it's better done than perfect. So do something which is easy, and then the perfection will come over time once you're in the decision, in the discussion with these companies and these people. Easy communication. It's need faster engagement. So you will have more clear vision on the core value proposition. You will have documents which are easier to share and circulate, and this saves time for yourself and for the recipient. And this enhances also your credibility. It shows you that you have clear ideas, because believe me, if you send a slide deck, you can put a lot of effort and work in a slide deck where you put a lot of data, nicely looking, and you put 55 pages and whatever, and then people will just not, on the other side, on the business world, or even from technology transfer university, they will not really understand it, look at it, and will not appreciate all the effort you have put into this. So they will appreciate much more a very simple overview, and it's easier for you, easier for them, and then you start the discussion. And once discussing, then the first step is already done. Like in life, the first step is always the most difficult one. Therefore, if you do this, you will be able to do much more, keeping it short. If you have questions, just put them in the chat, and from time to time I will look at it. All this brings us to the challenges in academic entrepreneurship. The commercialization is slow and costly. We have long development cycles, so whenever we have a technical invention, normally we have some regulation around it. The development costs quite some time and money, so the commercialization of it will be much later, and we have some kind of gap that we need to fill by funding. We have a high uncertainty in product market fit. So reducing it, as mentioned before, in the simplistic way, we might be able to bring up certain ideas and communicate it to stakeholders, but we still will not know if there will be a product market fit. And therefore, we need this kind of agile, evidence-based decision-making, even when being a long way still, even having a long way still to go to the market, we need to find a way how to make this happen. How to make this happen? There's this lean startup methodology, which is always is also around for quite some years, but I believe it's one of the best methodologies also to look at startups and to look at something new and get into some kind of learning cycle. What is it about? It's always this build, measure, learn. So this rapid experimentation to validate ideas. We build something new, we have a new idea, we test it in the market somehow, and then from there we do some learning and implementation into our new idea. So you see, that's always a circle. So you build something, you measure the impact in the market, you learn from it, and you improve your idea. That's the idea. So there's this minimal viable product. So to test your assumptions with minimal investment. Now you say, okay, in technical development, so how do I do a prototype, especially also if I do medical technologies, if I do pharmaceuticals, AI, whatever, there's a lot of investment needed, a lot of hours bringing up something which is working. Sometimes we just think too complex. Perhaps doing this business model canvas, bringing up a one-pager, we can speak to some investors and some pharmaceutical companies, and they will tell us, this is of interest because of this, and that, and this is not of interest because in this segment you will be, so you can bring up, for instance, in pharmaceuticals, you bring up a new innovative treatment for cancer treatment. This happens quite a lot in the market. Scientifically, the survival rate brings you 15 days more of statistical survival rate, but healthcare systems are not paying for this. So pharmaceutical companies will tell you right away, for 15 days, so you will be compared to some cheap, also to some products which are already in the generic market. You will be grouped in the same group if you do not have a more significant survival rate or survival time. So in the end, you can do all efforts you want, but if you're not able to penetrate the major markets, no pharmaceutical companies, no investor will go for that. So sometimes it's just asking the right questions at the right beginning. So you can spend a lot of money, a lot of investment, you can patent quite a lot of things, but in the end, perhaps there's no market fit. To avoid that, I encourage you to bring up your ideas on paper, to protect them well. Of course, patents, intellectual property is quite important in the university, in the spin-off setting, because normally there is no spin-off without some kind of patent. Normally, as you know, university is funding the public research. Some patents are coming out of this. These patents and the commercialization of these patents is not really in the core activities of a university. So they outsource that into a spin-off which can get private capital in order to invest further on that. So once it is protected, the latest on this stage, you shall search contact with investors, with stakeholders in the industry, with companies, in order to test your assumptions, to see what is their reaction. And you will learn quite a lot. They will tell you, perhaps in this direction, but perhaps if you develop it like this could be interesting. And yeah, and basically you learn. You have some validated learning. You have data-driven decisions. So if you do this on a, let's say, scale, if you talk to 10 people, perhaps there's some patterns that you can look at. You can take then data-driven decisions to your assumptions, and you can bring this in as a learning into your circle. So you say, okay, I'm based on what I learned, I can adjust my strategy based on real world feedback, and I have a better idea. And then the circle starts again with this better idea. We define it, we do a business model, can we say, okay, what is changing? Do a new one-pager, we talk to some other people, and this is how I would encourage you to work. Because sometimes we're just inventing something which nobody wants. So we're so in love with our technology, with our knowledge, whatever. So we are programming, we are in the lab and whatever. And so we are coming up with something which is really nice, but the market perhaps is not ready to receive it. Therefore, just find an easy way to validate it. And there are easy ways to validate it. So it's always an excuse to say, we have something highly complex. We need a lot of months in order to develop a prototype. Yes, that's true. We will need a lot of months to develop the prototype. But before we develop this prototype, we shall go into this circle, because perhaps if we have all this real world feedback, our prototype will be much better. So in the end, we will have something which will have a much better market fit than the previous prototype. Reduces risk and increases speed to market. So it reduces risk, that's right, increases speed to market, not in all the cases, as we know. Sometimes when we look at different inventions, we are looking at regulated industries, not all of them allow for a really fast market access. So it reduces risks, yes, because we will save time by avoiding unnecessary product developments. So we can then just focus on developing the product which is really worth developing. And it enables also the structured engagement with industry partners and investors. We will come later now to the communication part, and you will see there why this is important to have this structured engagement. How does such a tech transfer process work? And I believe this is important also as part of this presentation shall be also to maintain our scientific essence. So normally we have to work in partnership. So we can work from the science, we can even be involved in the spin-off foundation. So sometimes scientists, they convert into being a CEO of a scientific spin-off. Sometimes they are just scientific advisors, and there's some professional CEO from the business world coming in. However, so if we want to maintain our scientific essence, we have to work in partnerships, because we cannot fund the development of our project ourselves. We cannot work without industry partners. So normally we shall focus on the scientific part, we shall understand the business world, we shall support the business world as much as we can. But there's professional investors, there's professional industry players where we have to transfer this technology to. And the better we do this, the faster we do this, the better is the likelihood that all will be quite happy, because it will give a good outcome to all of us, whilst the role of each person in this project is also respected somehow. Normally, so this is, I separated this into desk phase, exchange phase, negotiation phase, closing phase, working with this segmentation already for some years. Once I also was working for a consultancy company some years ago. Basically, it has the advantage because desk phase means that these are the things we have to do at our desk before we go into the exchange with industrial partners. And this is where is our strong part. So we have to define the business model. the tools you already know. We have to do some partner profiling. The tools is also that's from where we understand what our customers are. We have to do some solid market research, of course, what is out there, not just looking at us, but also which competitors are out there, what they are doing, which kind of solutions are out there, which ideas received funding, which companies have been acquired by industrial partners. All these kind of things will give us really interesting clues. From this, we can do some kind of long list, potential partners. Just write them down whenever we find someone. And at some point, we need to reduce this into a short list, saying, okay, from all these, of course, there will be some criteria to exclude, perhaps direct competitors we shall exclude, perhaps someone who has done some very similar things, companies who have acquired something very similar, we shall exclude. And we get to a short list and we prepare a data room with all the information that we would like to share with these companies. I'll show you in a second what this shall include, because all this we shall prepare before we go out into the market. Once we go out, we present our project to the companies, we confirm the interest. So the project presentation, one-pager, perhaps a small presentation apart from that. And based on this, a business case is generated in cooperation with the industry player, in cooperation with the investor, because you will have your own ideas, they will have their assumptions, and at some point you will meet in the middle and say, okay, this business has this value and we are willing to invest that much, or we are willing to pay you a licensing fee for the license of this technology, or we're able to acquire your technology at this price. All this will be based on such business case discussions. And then you go, in the best case, into these term negotiations, agreement negotiations, always term negotiations prior to agreement negotiation. Terms are just like, let's say, a long list of terms that you agree. You shall not mix this with agreement negotiations, because agreements can be quite complex. If you mix term and agreement negotiation, this will be a big mess. So normally the terms, once you have cleared the terms, you just ask lawyers or you yourself put this into an agreement, into legal wording, basically, but mixing all this will be very complex. And then at the end, sorry, talking too much. So don't underestimate the agreement signature. A lot of things can happen. So perhaps you have negotiated it, then it passes to a CEO or some kind of person at university. They say, no, this is completely different to what we have been thinking about it and whatever. So a lot of things can happen. Take sure that all this agreement signature process is also well implemented and well done and well accompanied by yourself, so that it all goes well, just like the project transfer, because it might be transferred to some people who have not been involved in all these negotiations. And then, of course, they have to be also aligned with the outcome. So they take it on and they take it on as their project, and not like this not invented here syndrome, that they are surprised by something which is brought to their table and said, I don't like it. And it has been decided by the senior management or whatever. So to avoid this, take sure that all these closing phases also done properly and you involve all the needed people. Very rapidly, of course, this process takes months and has a lot of detail in all its steps. Just today, what I want to do in the part of this presentation, to give you the tools to do the desk phase well, because this is the most important part. Before you go out in the market, do your homework well. Prepare the documents. Nothing more frustrating if you go out to the market and then some company said, yes, we are interested, please provide us this and that, and you're not able to provide it. So please think before what you need. So normally a non-confidential, so this document development part, non-confidential documents, business model canvas, one-pager, the patents, by definition, of course, they are non-confidential as they are published. All kind of published data which could be relevant, and a CDA, so confidential data, so a confidential disclosure agreement, so that you can already have this available, because I've worked in some projects where I say, okay, yes, we have interest to go for this project to evaluate it further. Please send us your CDA. And then university or the spin-off, whatever, said, we do not have a CDA. And then they said, we have some template from some previous project which was not fitting, or we have a one-sided NDA or CDA which is just covering one side. But it would be much better to have a two-way CDA in order that this company can also tell you their plans and not just you disclosing the information. And then it takes 3 months to send them a CDA, and they say, now we changed ideas and we already now working on some other projects. So this is very frustrating, believe me. So make your homework, have this already prepared before you speak to the first company or the first investor or whatever whom you need to discuss with. Also, the confidential information, just the same here. Build up a data room, whatever. There's a lot of tools where you can store this. If a company says, okay, yeah, we want to sign a CDA, it's signed in 2 days, and then said, okay, yes, please show us more. Be prepared, have different things ready. So non-published data, perhaps intellectual property you are preparing out of this, some modeling, some valuations you have been doing internally, company information, or perhaps you're not having still a company, you're at university, but you want to create a company. You already know whom will be in the advisory board, whom will be supporting this, what will be the percentage of the university of yourselves, and which investment you need to raise in order to bring this forward. All these kind of things you could share. How you would like to bring up your organization, how you would like to structure the sales and marketing, knowing that in tech developments, normally this is some kind of B2B sales and marketing, finding collaboration partners, legal considerations, strategic plans, evaluation results, and already prepare term sheets and agreements. So normally you will be the owner of your technology. So the company also, it's much better that you propose an agreement to the industrial player than them providing them your or their template. Because if you rely on the template of the other party, of course they might design it to their favor, not to your favor. So it's always best that we have this in our hands and we can send them something from our side. All of this is a lot of work, I know. However, so all of this doesn't have to be done in one day. Hopefully from today you've learned the main tools, in at least around the communication part, and these parts, there's a lot of drafts also available. Please always reach out to me if you need support with that. A lot of things can be done. So all these projects, normally before you go to the market, you shall be working on this in order afterwards, once there's interest, all the process will flow much better, and there's much higher probability that you end up collaborating with the investor or with the industrial partner instead of someone else. So preparation is really everything here. Most of you that know me know that I'm also a big fan of business books and the learning from them. Real world learnings from real world example, nothing better than this. Of course, all the learnings we do over all the years is much more viable and hands-on, whilst business books can always give us some kind of clues and ideas how to structure things. I'm sharing you some very old one also already from some years back, which I have been working also quite a lot in a consultancy company. It's a quite exotic book. I don't think that most of you know it. It's called go beyond the red, distinguish yourself in all your business interactions. Very important. So because knowledge, competence, expertise, credibility is very important. And normally as a scientist, we are working in this red field, but this is not enough. So we really have to get quality relationships, and we have to get proactively involved with our business partners, with customers, whomever, in order to be really a business partner which is looked after in the industry. And therefore these relational and strategic skills are the essence of our meaningful business relationships, and then how to get proactively involved in order that our customers already know that we are there whenever they need us. So this is the key. The red part, the efficient part. So you see here, this is going from efficiency to quality to proactivity. How to get there? Efficiency. All of us know this. We master our field. We know the industry trends and the best practices in our field. So industry trends, let's say the scientific trends, whatever is under development in our field, we know the best practices. Share insights, and we value interaction in our field. So we also, with our collaborators, with our students, whatever, we teach, we mentor, we educate. All this is around efficiency. So all of this is expected from us. This is the baseline. All of this needs to be done, whilst the quality part, the yellow part, we have to build trust to see that also our customers and our collaborators see that we are looking after long-term relationships. So we have to understand the client's real needs. That's what we have done before with the value proposition canvas. So to really understand what are the needs. So we have to line our expertise with their strategic goals, and we have to be a connector. So to be really a contact of value to them, so they can count on us, saying, okay, whenever there's something, I will connect you and solve your problem. And where the magic happens in collaborations is the proactivity part. We have to anticipate challenges before they arise. We have to offer innovative solutions, not just the answers, and go beyond our defined role. Especially in this kind of intersection between science and business, this is really important. So whenever we are talking to an industry player, to an investor, to the university itself in during the technology process, really to understand what we are doing, to see what is the next steps, to see which challenges could arise, and already addressing them early on. So they see, yes, we are really caring about what we are doing. We really care that we want to make this work. We want to make this work in the long term. This is what is expected from us, to stay engaged over all the process. I like this model because all of us, we work in this graphical way to break it down into colors and to steps. I find this quite interesting and appealing. So that's why I wanted to share this with you. So you can take it also into your daily interactions, to not just master your science, but also go beyond and really work to get proactively involved with all the stakeholders that could be interesting and relevant on your journey. Coming to the 1IB hub method, I really believe that success is not just measured by the business of our days, but by the depth and purpose of our actions. This is a phrase I took out of my book about productivity, and that's what we want to teach in this 1IB hub method. That's the method we are working with spin-offs to validate their ideas, attract industrial partners, and attract funding to convert this scientific research into commercial solutions. It's quite easy to get caught up in a lot of activities. Once we are in this technology transfer phase, a lot of activities have to be done at the same time, And sometimes it's not easy to understand what is the most important one, which are urgent, which are important, and so on. So from our experience, we like to transmit that what is necessary in order to make these scientific innovations reach the market effectively, to overcome all these regulatory barriers, and to find and to develop strategic collaborations in the networks around us between scientists, entrepreneurs, companies, service providers, so that all of this works. And from this 1IB Hub method, we have been working with, so Hub, of course, as you know, we are connectors. We try to connect, and we try to be there to really as some kind of buddy for all scientists, for all the companies, in order to make their projects work. We've learned quite a lot. 1IB was founded 6 years ago, and a lot of projects we have been doing over these years, and really have created a nice network around the company. We try to support ourselves, and the learning from all this I would like to present to you just now, because I really would like to make a proposal to you. We always have two paths we could look at. So you will wonder why 1 and 2, what is this about? And it's really the first time that we're offering this. So path 1, we are sharing knowledge on a frequent base, as you see also from our social media accounts, as the people that know me, that I'm passionate about teaching. You know, as you have seen, I'm active at the university, also speaking at conferences, and I really like to transmit knowledge. And from all this knowledge that I'm transmitting in over these channels, I believe that you can find a lot of information, and you can figure out how to set up this process on your own. So I trust that you can do it. The second path, we really would like to show you how to do this together. So today I would like to offer you a program how to really team up in order to make this working for you. So having your permission, I will start into proposing what I would like to propose to you. We have recently started now a Founders of Innovation program, which is some kind of program where we will learn together all the basics needed to make our project, our scientific spin-off, to convert it into a successful venture, and to be in this tech transfer process together to create the impact that we want to have, and to prevent that it is just lost and forgotten due to a lack of business knowledge. Because this happens quite a lot. A lot of people say, okay, there's a patent, the patent, nobody really takes care of it. It could be something really nice. Nobody knows what to do. Nobody really wants to do something, and then it's just lost. And sometimes it's a pity, because there could be so really interesting things coming out of this for the researcher itself, for the reputation of the researcher, for the university, for the companies. And we really want to make this forward. So science and scientific ideas are specific by nature. So sometimes I say, this is too specific and I don't know, whatever. But all inventions could have a potential applications. And with our benchmarks, with our ideas, with our network, we have found a lot of applications to things which appear to be a niche application. And all of this, what we are doing together, we will do in a team, and really make this successful for all different technologies. I don't have to learn about business. I'd rather focus on research. So of course, this is quite viable. Whilst in my opinion, it always helps to understand the business world, because once you have an invention, once you have a patent, once you have something which is really transferable to society, to companies, it's better to understand what you are doing, at least the basics, so you can participate in this world and you can bring this forward. You can you can really search the exit over an entrepreneurial venture that you're doing. And this doesn't take years of study. So you don't have to take a formal degree. We will offer you something short and meaningful, which will make an impact in your daily work. Some things that we're hearing also is, if my research is truly valuable, companies will come looking for me. I don't think so. So even the best idea doesn't sell itself. So you need to communicate, you need to structure, you need to bring it down, because your science is so complex that investors normally will not understand. And normally the takeover point from industry to your idea is not the initial research. So you have to, the spin-off has to be built up. You have to invest some further development steps, and at some point an industrial player will take it over, but they will not take it over at the initial phase of a patent. So there's a certain lack that you have to, there's a certain lack of time and money and investment that you have to, this gap you have to close. And they will not just look for basic research. They will look for something which is already some kind of developed. Therefore, you have to understand what you need to do in order to transfer it to industry, to investors, this price. Waiting for the right moment to launch my spin-off. Of course, when is the right moment? So perfect moment doesn't exist. If you have something which seems interesting, it's better, viable, and more viable to start right away, because from waiting, ideas normally do not get better. So if you have an idea, if you want to gain momentum, the moment to take action is now, and do the learnings that you need to do in order to make this a success, or have all the knowledge. Whenever you get this knowledge, then later on you can apply this to a new idea. But the best idea, the best moment to take action is always now. That's why you're here. This program is for. So I would really love, I'm really passionate about teaching, about collaborating with people. So what is this program is about people who really would like to make a living from their passion, just like myself, living and working in these kind of intersection between science and industry every day. I would love more people joining this space and think which projects could be brought forward together with this. So people who would like to build a successful business, who would like to make a business out of science. So this business is always a word which has some in science, some kind of negative aspect, I know. However, so an innovation or an idea which is not brought to the market doesn't have an impact on society. So of course, business is some kind of the way to bring it to society, because someone has to invest, someone has to make it bring the development further. Therefore, they have to sell it. Of course, it's a business, whilst the impact in society will just be given if it is transferred into a business. And this will also bring some financial independence for the founders who are involved into this. This brings the real industry impact. Finding this balance between personal and professional life is very interesting, because once you're on this business side, of course, the flexibility which is coming out of this can be also interesting, paired with your scientific activity at university. People who are really, so I love people I love working with people who are proactive, which like to validate their innovation in the market and gain credibility, because this is the way to secure funding and attract investors, not just staying in the lab and whatever, waiting things to happen, being there, doing proactive things, reaching out to people with the right tools that we will learn together. And then, of course, we build a high performance team together to grow this into a solid scale-up. Not a good fit for people who are just looking for a quick fix without the commitments in the validation and development of their spin-off. Perhaps this is not the right moment, sorry to say, if you're not having the commitment to invest into your further development. Academics who have quite clear that they want to stay in research without exploring the commercialization options. Also, of course, you have already taken the decision to stay as a researcher, and there's no need to force you to do something which you're not like to do. Life is much better if you live with your passion. So if you're passionate about what you're doing, if you're passionate to bring it further, to give it a different angle, this is why you shall join the program. If you say, I want really to focus on the research, then much better that to stay focused on the research. Entrepreneurs without a scientific or technological background also shall not join this program, because this is really for people who come from the technical part, who come from the scientific part, in order to make the leap to their new role and to be more involved in the business world. So why I'm doing this? Big question. So my company, 1IB, and me and my team, we live from project execution. We have quite a nice, as mentioned, a nice network of companies around us. We are quite grateful for all the nice projects that we have been working on, and we really would like to also bring this knowledge to the market. So we don't want to sell it. Of course, all in life has a price, and all time dedication, of course, needs to be remunerated somehow. But we really do not want to sell you something that you do not need. So we really want to share what we have been learning and really enable you to do your job better, to really get engaged, to get motivated in order to bring projects forward, to see more tech transfer happen. That's what we are passionate about, and this is the passion we would like to bring forward. And if this is something which is resonating with you, this is really great, because then we can do great things together. This program, what will it contain? It will be 8 modules. The module number 1, it will be the introduction to entrepreneurial mindset and innovation. Very important, because we will be doing different things that we're doing in our normal life. So we really have to see what is the difference between the academic and the business world. To shift the mindset, researcher, solution creator, I called it. Sometimes it's different, as we already saw in the first slides, and we have to think different. We have to bring down things different. We have to, from doing everything in all detail in research, shorten it down into digestible versions, is something which has to be learned. But this will give us a nice view over innovation opportunities in research, the life cycle of our spin-off, how to create this impact. Of course, all of this will be around success stories and the research transition into profitable businesses. So we have quite a lot of examples in our surroundings, which we'll make available to you to learn from that. The second module will be the validation of the idea and business model in research. Validation methods, how to obtain real industry feedback. So the identification from customer segments and their needs, creating a strong value proposition for the market. This business model canvas for spin-offs. Of course, today we did some, but this was just the tip of the iceberg. Of course, today we, in such a setting, we cannot enter into all details. This will be something which will give you really solid tools over some days and weeks, which you can enjoy and really learn a lot of tools that will make your work better. In the third module, we will go to see how to build these go-to-market strategies. Even the go-to-market sometimes will not be ourselves marketing the product, but we have to prepare that our industrial partners, that our collaborators, whatever, will take over the product. We have to think about how to make an exit of our project. So how do we go there? Digital marketing strategies also to make ourselves known in the market. This marketing plan. Marketing does not necessarily mean that we are marketing our product proactively in the market itself. So in marketing, we have to bring it to some collaborators. So we might need to go to conferences. We have to prepare some technical plans. We have to do these agreement draftings. All that we will learn in this module, how to build the brand for the spin-off, the sales strategies, and how to look at competitors, how to do the differentiation of our technology versus existing technologies. The fourth module will be around investment financing. So understanding how to do a business plan, an investor pitch, a financial plan, negotiation tactics, how these early stage financing work. So we have been close. So myself, as mentioned, I've been I've been close to projects who have been invested by venture capital, by family offices. I've been with big pharma acquiring products which have been invested by venture capital. So we have a good network there. We will also invite some experts from the space. So it will be really hands-on learning and giving you the right tools for doing all these interactions. Growth phase of the spin-off. So we will start, but of course we want to make it growing. Partnerships with universities, tech transfer, companies, investors, how to effectively network, how to bring up strategic collaborations, all the tools and platforms for international business development. All of this we will learn in the fifth module. In module number 6, once we have going through this growth phase, of course, we have to also bring some sustainability to our structure. So structure, processes, team organization, talent management, all things that perhaps in research we never looked at, and they are quite important whenever we're thinking about launching a spin-off. So better to get prepared before, to have solid ideas, how to structure that, how to manage the team, how to manage the operations, which digital tools for project management, productivity, scaling, all that. Of course, we have a lot of experience in all that, working for spin-offs, for mid-sized companies. All of this we will transmit it in this module. We will have a module on long-term planning, so revenue models, how to avoid bankruptcy or failure. Of course, all people say, we learn from failures, but in reality, nobody wants to fail. And of course, we have to, the better we plan, the better we prepare ourselves, the less likely we will fail for stupid reasons. There can always be reasons to fail. However, so we will avoid that we are not failing for stupid reasons. Scalability, international expansion, to understand how different markets work interculturally, in measuring the impact, the 5-year planning, all these kind of things we will learn with a lot of case studies and a lot of practical tools over the module number 7. Module number 8, last module, is with aligning ourselves with the values of the project. So leading a team is always a challenge. Company culture, so how do we transfer our vision into a company? How do we make it last? How we do this leadership challenges, personal skill for effective decision making, leadership strategies, all this very important to learn. We will bring this into module, so it's easier for you to structure all this, to have clear ideas, whatever is waiting for you, so you can do it well whenever you're starting the project. All of this project will be a 4-month project. You will see this later on. We have some bonus which which will be also delivered together with the project. So will be my pleasure to give you a signed version of my book, which is normally including the shipment costs at 20 euros. I will, of course, hand this over to you personally then during the process with a personal dedication. We will also be adding, we want to make access over all these projects to a lot of interesting contacts for you. So nice network, and of course we will also get a private masterclass for you. So if you're entering the program, we'll give you a private masterclass with a successful founder, so you can all ask all your questions, how they did it, so from a real world example. So really that you to have access to people who already underwent this process. I don't have the right contacts, investment key partners, so that's why we're there. We will also prepare you how to network with these guys. So really to bring yourself to the table. All of this we are selling also separately a different bundle. So you see the value here. Of course, all of this will be included in the program. So this masterclasses we are normally organizing for 199 euros for our customers if they're interested in these benchmarking, the strategy networking guide, to really make impactful, not just the standard things, so but really make an impactful, meaningful exchange with investors. And the program cost. So I would really prefer that we have I will show you now how to organize a free, no obligation call. We'll have an interesting conversation, no doubt. So I'm really passionate about tech transfer. So I would really like to get on personal interviews with you to really see if this program is a good fit for you. So just like with this interview, we will know after a short call, 15 minutes, we will know if this is for you. And then I can also tell you how much this is, what's the cost of the program, how this is going. If you have questions, of course, schedule a call, no obligation. We will not force you. We would just want to help you, and we would like to really ensure to have a nice group of people enjoying to work together to make this a really enjoyable product. You can schedule a call via oneibhub.com, so the page where you're already inscribed, /booking, or scanning this QR code. I will show it again later on, so you can organize your interview. The program will be a 4-month program, so really 4 months, so not too long, not too short. Nice content, I will promise, really interesting insights, nice contacts we will make, and really prepare you well for this tech transfer journey in order to bring your research into a successful spin-out without losing your scientific essence. Of course, this comes with a guarantee, 15-day guarantee. You can get your money back if this is not for you. If you see, this is not really what I was looking at, no question asked, you can get your money back. And we, of course, want to commit to your success. If you really follow all this and you really do not see so you really want to see the impact, and we will be continuing there for you for the additional 3 months to really help you. If you did not see the expected results, we will really make sure that you see it over 3 months of extra work. So be sure that we are there for you to make this as once a nice, pleasurable extra learning that you're doing with a lot of experiences, and secondly, that you also will take the success out of it. If you schedule your interview fast, and if you end up in the program, we will also give you a directory of funding organizations, of venture capital companies, of private family offices, of governmental research, governmental funded projects where you can get funding for your project. This is something which we elaborated and are selling also to customers in order to make their funding easier. And this we will also include in the program if you're acting fast. So really invite you to schedule your interview, and we'll be looking forward to talk to you. Some people who have worked with us with 1IB have been so nice to leave their opinion. If you go to 1ib.net, which is our main website /testimonials, you will find some video testimonials, some written testimonials, people who I appreciate and have been year-long customers and friends working with us. So hopefully so that it would give you some inspirations. And of course, we'll be looking forward also and hopefully to see you there in some month if you're equally satisfied with the projects, with the programs we have been doing together. Really, thank you for being here today. I know it's late already, at least here in Europe. I've seen that, of course, there's also some people from Latin America, from Chile. Thanks for being today. Really appreciate the time. I really appreciate your willingness to learn something new. If you would like to stay connected, these are our social media channels. If you have questions, apart from today, just drop us a message over the social media challenges. We are very active there, responding messages. Of course, if you have punctual questions, if you need some kind of template, draft, whatever, benchmark, always happy to discuss. Just leave us a message. And yeah, looking forward to speak to you over the next days. Schedule your call. That's where you will find me, and then we'll have a nice discussion to see if this program is for you. Really would like to enjoy having you join this program. I'm really passionate about it. Hope you will be too. This will be a nice learning experience if we team up and do this together. So see you in the interviews, and have a nice evening, nice day to all of you. Thank you for your time.